Promotion Human Development Academic Advisor, and it was also so wonderful to just connect with you last week related to housing and homelessness and a shared passion. And I think I mentioned that because I think passion intersecting with leadership is very powerful. And I am beyond, having a cause to kind of get behind that is community impact, housing and homelessness, poverty. I really believe strongly in leading. And so I think I'd like to learn more about the transformational leadership styles from you and your classmates as well. But I think in terms of a philosophy, I believe strongly in Paul Schmitz is an author who wrote a book called Everyone Leads, and I actually got to meet him last year at a conference, and it's really this movement that everyone has a place to lead. And with coalition work, that is kind of the cornerstone, that certainly there's like one person that has to be an organizer and manager of the workload that has to get done to achieve the goals that like a coalition has, such as the Housing and Homelessness Coalition or any department on campus. But the ability to kind of see where everyone plays an instrumental role and not one being weighted over another is so, so powerful. So when I heard Paul Schmitz speak, and I've read his book, and when I think about how community change happens related to huge issues that you feel like you can never get your arms around, like homelessness, I think that you can get your arms around it when you empower people who are experiencing the challenge, when you empower business owners, when you empower everyone to see how their role plays an important part of a solution related to that. I think high quality leaders create relevance in the minds of people who may not have thought they had a role. And I think that's something that I just get fired up about being part of. I love helping children see their role as leaders in their families. And that just, I could almost, like my nose gets tingly or my eyes water a little, because I think when children can understand their value in a community, it's only 5 and 10 years later that they are the leaders. And certainly thinking about how our students, and I think I've talked with Sterling about this in Wickifer and the UCFR students, that once you are here on this campus, you are already a leader in your profession. And there are people like me who are relying on you to be the best that you can be, because you are the next generation of leaders. And so those are some of the kind of key ingredients to kind of, you mentioned like managing versus leading and what kind of leadership style I believe in. I think of an example, well, just speak to the transformational leadership, knowing that the Housing and Homelessness Coalition and community impact work that I was doing, I didn't want to kind of let stop or not be part of anymore, because I like it, but then thinking about what the limitations are on time. If you want to be leading but you don't allocate enough time or put the right supports in place. So this transformation or this transition for me meant that myself and another colleague decided to co-chair just one of the subcommittees for the whole coalition. So that's been interesting, and seeing the communication patterns shift a little and having to step away, but then we'll kind of see how that ebb and flow plays out. But that's one thing that's been a challenge, I think, to kind of move into a different role and then just kind of see how things play out, and then but also know that the right supports are in place for success. And then share my favorite quote before we
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Brené Brown is an amazing social science researcher, and she says, she's written a few books. She had a really famous TED Talk, that became famous after she did it in 2008 or 9. And the quote is, "Vulnerability sounds like truth, feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always easy, but they're always the best option." That was a little bit modified. And I think true, authentic leadership requires vulnerability, which means a lot of tears and a lot of anxiety and sleepless nights sometimes, but it's always worth it, and it's okay to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.